2025 is not done with this channel yet because I gotta do some final wrap up on my series on UFO 50. If you are joining me for the first time in 2026, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel and for watching my videos on my previous top 10 videos. But at the beginning of 2025, I started an entire series of me going through every single game of UFO 50, and I did finish that up at the end of 2025. But the final two things I was going to do is talk about some of my favorite games from UFO 50 as well as the tier list. That tier list is still coming at some point. I gotta figure out my schedule, something like that. But this video is about my top 5 favorite games from UFO 50. Why 5? Well, I picked one favorite from every single row, so I'm gonna go from row 1 to row 5 talking about my all-time favorite game from each row. Even though I had a lot of favorites, I just decided to pick on one favorite just to talk about them a little bit more in depth, and we'll go from there. So here it is, my top 5 favorite games from UFO 50. So I actually switched up on this one. Initially, I had Mortal as my favorite game from the first row, but I went back and played Attactics again, and I really enjoyed the gameplay of this one. Attactics is a really fun and a really interesting strategy game because it's a very real-time, like incredibly real-time, because you have to be really quick on your feet. And if you're unfamiliar with what Attactics is, you see it on the screen behind me. Essentially what it is that you are moving different soldier units around to get through to the other enemy's castle and take their flag. Essentially capture the flag with different enemy pieces, and all the different enemy and all the different player type of characters have different effects. Different soldiers have different types of effects, where you have someone on a horse who goes a little bit faster, you have archer who shoots arrows from range, you have ninjas who act, or assassins actually, who attack from the top and from the bottom as well. You also have guys that will explode, which will take out your guys, and also the enemy players as well. So it's a really interesting and really real-time strategy combat type of game where you have to move your pieces around. You can move forward and back, and once the timer is going, they move forward, and then the enemy will move forward as well. So in the campaign specifically, you are always at a disadvantage. The enemy, or the blue team specifically, always has 40 or 60% more units than you, and so you kind of have to switch around a lot of your units to make sure that they're in the right place, maybe blocking where they're going to be, because they will really overwhelm you at times. I know that can be frustrating at sometimes, but I really had a fun time because it really made my brain work. In fact, whenever I made my initial video on that, I think I titled it that is really great for the brain. It really makes you think about where you need to move your units in the specific spots of where they need to go, memorize their abilities and what they actually do, and place them where they need to go, and also make sure you're making opening and making space for your units to go forward and actually capture the enemy base, take out all their flags as well. So that's why I really enjoyed this game a lot, because of how much it made my brain work and how much it made my brain think a lot. Played each of the modes. So there's a campaign mode, there's also a ranked mode, which you go up in rank, you also lose rank as you go forward. There's also a survival mode as well, which that's pretty self-explanatory. You basically survive until the very end, but that's actually pretty hard because the enemy will still overwhelm you with odds. If you're not quick enough on your feet, the time will go forward, you'll be overwhelmed and you'll lose, and you'll have to start all the way over again. But yeah, really enjoyed it, and that's why this is my favorite from the first row, because it made my brain work in a very interesting and fun way. Quibble Race was a lot of fun. This is one of the few games that I actually did complete on the entirety of UFO 50. So if you complete a game in UFO 50, you get the gold cartridge whenever it turns to gold. So I enjoyed that. It's a really, really fun game. You can see the video where I did all the way through it. So what I enjoyed about this game is that it takes the fun gameplay of the first Campanella game and then turns it into an entire Mario Kart style race where you're hitting your opponents against the wall, trying to dodge the obstacles and also pick up the power-ups along the way to get through all these races. The difficulty comes with trying to go through each of the different tracks because some of them weave in and out of each other, and depending on where you place in the race, you're either at the top or you're at the bottom, and you kind of have to catch up to where you are getting ahead of it, and you're running into each other along the way. You're trying to avoid the walls, and you're trying not to get hit. You're trying not to get hit by all the obstacles and all the power-ups, because there's one power-up where you're basically laying mines the entire time, and so that's kind of the difficulty of it, but it's really fun. And then you deal with the Campanella style movement where you basically control by going up and down and then kind of floating downward and trying to find the hidden areas, try to get ahead of all your opponents to get into the first place, or at least place to where you get enough points to be in the top 3. What was really satisfying for me is that I enjoyed it when I'm in first place, and I get to a point where I'm essentially lapping everybody, where if I have maybe 2 laps to go, everybody else has maybe 3 or 4, or even sometimes 5 laps to go. So that was really satisfying to kind of pass everybody, and even if I crashed and had to start over, I was still ahead, still in first place. For the footage I was gathering for this video, I was so far ahead by the end of it. Even if I was in last place, I still would have gotten first place for how many points I was ahead in this game. So had a blast with it. Something I did not talk about at all in the series as well is that there's a terminal that you can put on in each of the games where you essentially can put in cheat codes. And so one of the cheat codes you can put in for the Big Bull Race is to allow items to appear more frequently. And so that got crazy chaotic from the outset. I'm like, I don't really want to have this on, because not only you can get them, your opponents can get them as well. So you can see all the chaos that surrounds it when you're just getting power-ups constantly throughout all of these tracks, because they're small tracks and you see all of the different power-ups and they're just going crazy. And so I was like, all right, I don't think I really want this one on. I just want to do the regular race as it is, but it was fun nonetheless. It's one of my favorite games out of every single game I've played as a whole. I would say probably maybe even my all-time favorite game. Give you kind of an early look of what I would put this on a tier list, probably somewhere in the A to S tier. So be looking for that tier list as well. But Big Rail Race is amazing. Love the game a lot. I loved balloons. I played a lot of balloons growing up, and so Rock on Island fit that to a T. Love the tower defense gameplay of Rock on Island. It got a lot more complicated as I went forward. And getting back into the terminal with this, one of the things that I put in immediately is to unlock all the levels, just to see what I was missing, just to see what all the things I could unlock, because there are some hard enemies that go forth. Even in the beginning of the tower defense mini game, like, the enemies will overwhelm you immediately if you don't place everything the right way. And something that I didn't figure out when it comes to Rock on Island is that if you place a caveman and a fire and a chicken next to each other, it kind of increases the amount of meat you have. So the fire will increase the health of your caveman, and if you put the chicken near the fire, once it kind of cooks over, it will get you more meat to get you more caveman to upgrade your abilities as well, because you can throw bones. You can also increase the range of those bones, increase the power of those bones as well. And so that was kind of the strategy as well, trying to figure out where to place all the caveman, place them in the correct spots where the enemies are coming out, and also place them in the correct spots of where they're going into your cave to destroy it, to make sure there's enough damage going out as they're going forth through all this entire maze. And so towards the end of the end levels, there's like a big maze like structures, and the screen kind of moves forward, so you can see how big the level structures are with Rock on Island. So yeah, strategy is key, placement is really key, but if you place them right, you can get some really good damage. You can really turn up the numbers, especially when you get more of your cavemen out there, and making sure you get enough meat out there. So enjoyed that. I love it. Love the combat. It reminded me so much of Bloons, and that's why I enjoyed so much of Rock on Island. 2025 was me rediscovering my love of beat 'em ups, and Fist Hell was part of that. Even though Fist Hell was pretty hard on the outside, I didn't get very far, and even when I went back to play it again, I didn't get very far in Fist Hell, but it's a fun game nonetheless, reminding me a lot of Final Fight, especially with the different types of characters that, I mean, I feel like they're literally ripped out of games like Final Fight, so I enjoyed that a lot. Going back to the terminal again, there's a few cheat codes that I put in. There's one that gives you a dog, so you can get a dog at the very beginning, but the cheat code for this one gives you a dog that has a lot of health, so you can get 2 dogs in the beginning of the game as you play. There's also another cheat code you can put in that gives everybody maxed out stats, so everybody has 4 stats, from power to technique to throw and to all of that. I'm kind of blanking on all the stats, but you can see them behind me as well. But it gives everybody maxed out stats, so essentially everyone's on an even playing field. And so that was fun to just kind of go through and kind of just mow through all the enemies as you just plow through all these zombies and then get through the level as well. So I enjoyed Fist Hell a lot. I wish I had a co-op partner. I wish I had someone else to play this one because it's great for local co-op, great for kind of couch co-op play. And so I enjoyed Fist Hell a lot because it's a great beat 'em up. It harkens back to those old school days of the beat 'em ups you play growing up, like the Ninja Turtles, or even the Simpsons games, or like I said before, Final Fight. So I enjoyed the heck out of Fist Hell. I'm so glad this kind of reignited my passion and love for beat 'em ups. And my final favorite game from the last row of UFO 50 is Quibble Race. This one surprised me a lot. I did not expect to like Quibble Race as much as I did. This is horse racing. This is sports betting, and I did not realize that I would enjoy this so much. I don't know if that speaks a lot to my character as a whole, but I mean, this was fun nonetheless. In the video that I did, whenever I first played it, I won immediately, but for this run, I lost a lot because I kind of made a lot of risky moves in betting on a lot of the quibbles and kind of not understanding all of what the quibbles were doing. And I got really frustrated at some point because I was like, I bet on this quibble, I basically did a max bet on a quibble, and they tripped right before they got into the finish line. And I was like, man, I cannot believe it. And I lost all my money, lost the computer. But that speaks to the level of tension that you have with this game. Something that I didn't realize that would have happened, but I figured it out while I was playing again, is that you can get fined if you wind up kind of juicing or enhancing some of the quibbles beforehand, because when you start off with a menu, you can do different types of things like learning the info of the different quibbles. You can see how fast or slow or how clumsy they are. You can also boost them or protect them, but if you do that too many times, you'll get caught and you will get fined. So that was really fun, a kind of interesting mechanic thrown in there. And then when you're off the races, you can see all of the things that you've done and all the things you've played up until then. You can see your wins, see your losses. You can also win big, especially if you're sponsoring a quibble. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed the heck out of Quibble Race, so much more than I thought I would, like I said before, and I enjoyed it a lot. But I'm glad this is not real horse racing, because I would have lost a lot of money. It's a fun game nonetheless. So that is my top 5 favorite games from UFO 50. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I had a lot more favorites. It was very hard, especially toward the last 2 roads, where I feel like everything was kind of becoming my favorite game, but I had to choose 5 just to make this video a little bit more concise, a little bit more succinct, and kind of talk about some of my favorites overall. But don't get mistaken, I have a lot more favorites that I have talked about on the channel, and if you want to see all those videos, I have it in an entire playlist. That tier list is coming soon, where I'll talk about them a little bit more in depth. But for now, these are my top 5 favorite games of UFO 50. Let me know some of your favorite games from UFO 50 down in the comments, if you've played all of the games, or if you played even just some of the games. I would want to know some of the games you kind of camped out on UFO 50, some of the games that you have kind of discovered, some of the games that you like, some of the games that you've used the terminal on, some of the games that you kind of mined the depths on more than I have. So I would love to have that. If you want to see more from me, if you want to see more from the UFO 50 series, that video will pop up, as well as anything else I'm doing on the channel. Got a lot of fun ideas coming out for 2026, so I'm excited to share that with you. But for now, thank you so much for watching. My name is Chike, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.